Hello, friends and lovers. It's Haelian. This is Hades, and we're going to do something pretty crazy today. How do you beat 50 heat? Why would you want to beat 50 heat? I don't know. But if you want to, hopefully this will help you out. So, I'm going to take probably one of the most powerful aspects and more so safest aspects that we got going here. Aspect of Hestia, after you manually reload, your next shot is empowered. Make sure for any time you use the rail, I honestly recommend that you make sure reload is bound to something other than the default. The default I think is R3 and it's terrible. So you're just gonna reload after every shot. You're just gonna have to train yourself to do this. There's really nothing else to it. It's the only way to play it. It's okay if you're not perfect right away. It's just gonna take a little bit of practice. Next, why don't we just quickly look at the mirror because it won't be too important. But we're going to talk a lot more about the pact. This stuff looks pretty standard. The only big thing that you'll probably notice is we have to use Stubborn Defiance now. That's because we have 100% lasting consequences and, oh, what's the other one called? Hard Labor. So enemies hit 100% harder and we cannot heal normally. So the Stubborn Defiance allows us to get our health back and just allows us to make more mistakes, essentially. So it definitely takes a lot to get used to. You also have to kind of... you have to kind of work around it and try to use it to your benefit and make sure you lose your Stubborn Defiance to get back to at least 30% health eventually, but we'll talk about that as we go. We're going to put on the Shattered Shackle, which gives us plus 100% attack right away, and that's going to be pretty important because we have double approval process on at the Pact of Punishment. So I think that the Hestia rail is able to be consistent because it has such a powerful attack coming out of the gate, especially when you use the shackle, that you don't necessarily need an attack boon, at least not right away. We kind of hope to get one by the end, but it's not a big deal if we don't. Well, I say that. It's kind of not a big deal if we don't. Everything else is kind of mandatory at this point in order to complete 50 heat. You cannot do any damage control with Hestia. I think that you'll just get ruined by the timer very, very quickly. Maybe if you found ricochet fire from the hammer, but you just can't rely on that, especially with double approval process. It's just probably won't happen. We're also going to skip Extreme Measures 4 because that would be just a massive barrier at the end. Yes, we could take off some other pieces of heat, but again, if it's all about consistency and what I'd recommend, Extreme Measures 4 is just way too difficult at the end of the run. We're going to feel like we're hitting with a wet noodle by the end. At the start, we're going to feel great, but by the end, we're going to feel terrible, essentially. I took off one Ajari Summons. We actually did double calisthenics for this. I think that's okay for Hestia. It's not okay for most other things, though. We have to do one routine inspection. There's really no other way around it, which means no re-rolls, and you missed out on some other stuff on the mirror there. And yeah, I don't know if you got questions about the pack, about what you can do or what you could swap here. I mean, so if you did do Extreme Measures 4, what would you get rid of? You'd probably get rid of routine inspection. No, you'd probably get rid of approval process and you wouldn't do the shackle anymore. And then you probably drop calisthenics, I think. Yeah, I think you drop calisthenics. This is not a hell mode file. If you're doing hell mode, you get one more heat from personal liability, so that would probably let you drop, again, probably calisthenics. I think the timer is going to be a big concern here. It always is at 50. Sometimes you're just not going to get lucky. But I think this is probably one of the more consistent ways to do this. It's either that or Eris Rail. Eris Rail would be very consistent, especially if you just keep resetting until you get Zeus's attack. But I don't know. Let's give it a shot. I make zero promises that we will win, but hopefully it'll at least be a good show. All right, what are we starting with? Artemis.
Looks to me like you.
So I didn't really want an attack boon, especially a common attack boon from Artemis, but it's okay. It's okay. Because now the shackle does nothing and it's kind of wasted for this biome. Like if you could have started with Hypnos's coin purse instead, is one way of looking at it. And that way we would have just had the money instead of it. I mean, I guess we get some extra special damage briefly. But yeah, we got to play very quickly when it comes to killing enemies. You cannot goof around. You cannot waste time between the rooms. That is 100% certain. I'm mostly just reloading between every shot. You probably saw with the numbskulls, I was mostly spraying them because they just don't have a lot of health. Okay, so you gotta take every free room possible, and we're gonna pause buffer for as much time as we can. I think you gamble with chaos here, even though it's extremely risky. It's 50 heat. It's early on in the run. If we have to take a dive, then so be it. Oh, that's actually very good, I would say. Plus 51 health at 50 heat is massive. That is a lot. And the move speed isn't bad at all. We'll survive. We can actually still get rolls from keys, even though it's technically disabled on the mirror. Just something the game allows you to do. Another weaker enemy that you can just hold down the attack button on. It's not a big deal if you, like, forget or anything, though. I don't think it's, like, a massive thing. Sometimes I just fall back into the habit and I tend to overdo the reloading potentially, but I'd rather do that than just keep spraying the enemies. So we have to take the shop even though we can't afford anything. You just need to be able to walk through a chamber. If you don't know, these zones in the game always have the same amount of chambers, and so taking a Chaos Gate does count towards getting toward the end of the zone. In other words, we got to skip what was most likely combat by taking Chaos. Same thing with taking the shop there. It is fixed like that. Nothing really adds on unless you're already in the last chamber for the zone and you get offered something like a Chaos Gate. Then that gets tacked on at that point. Health is good. We're happy about that. You definitely want to check these. Okay. So that's pretty strong. It's for 15 encounters, 10% more health. It does use up all our money. We don't have a boon to sell besides the attack for Underworld's Customs right now, which is definitely scary, but we haven't even seen the mini-boss yet. So I think we're okay. We don't really want Dionysus for what would be our sellable boon, most likely. Dionysus might give us premium vintage, which is not sellable. Some boons are just not sellable. Sipping my coffee. Plus, we got the hammer on the right, which is powerful. We'll probably get offered another mini-boss that we can take. You wouldn't do it over a free room, though, if, like, Boldy got offered at the same time. Come on. Rocket Bomb is good. That's a good one. That's one of the better ones, for sure. Ricochet Fire is probably the best in slot for Hestia, though. By quite a bit, too. So now we get, like, a little bit AoE, too. We have the Shackle on at the moment for Rocket Bomb, so that feels pretty nice. So at least there's that. We got Zeus out of this. We got the health from the Chaos Curse. This is looking like a very strong run. We don't waste rolls on something like this because we know that we're probably just going to sell it. We probably save our rolls for Hermes, if anything. I just got bonked by that trap, but you don't have to feel bad about getting hit by stupid things at this level of heat because of Stubborn Defiance. Like, your health's just going to eventually get down to the 30% one way or another. So it's kind of a nice thing about it, really. You still just take the rolls as much as possible here from the keys. Oh, this is a bad room for us. The damage control, numbskulls. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. I'm probably just gonna have to spray a lot here. Come on. Kind of hard to, like, single them out, but I kind of just let our health drop to get through it because we cannot afford to take it slow. Not at all. Oh, good. We got a... Dang, too bad we're palming that. Good thing we got a fountain, though, just to skip a room again. We cannot afford anything from the shop, so we just take the free health. Our health is actually magnificent right now. We have over 200 health, which is incredibly high for leaving Tartarus on 50 heat. So that's definitely looking great. So now do we bother to keep the shackle on since we do have an attack boon? I think the answer is usually no. You could go straight into safety, but I think we take our chances at getting, I say chances, it's more so that we try our best to get something out of Athena now at this point. Athena is obviously incredibly powerful and just super defensive. The dash is probably the single best boon in the game. So if that were to appear, then it's kind of like a run over a little bit. So putting on Athena's Keepsake, I think is a good idea here. So this does nothing. You don't get any healing from this stuff. The only way to heal is to lose your Stubborn Defiance.
Do I still need these?
Right, we have to sell Heaven's Vengeance. So if we get Athena's Dash, that's crazy, but there's also a semi-intended, semi-unintended thing that you can do with Athena. You do need one of our core boons, such as the Dash first, though. And you can get Death Defiances offered from Athena. You've probably seen them, right? And you might assume that they don't really work on when you're using Stubborn Defiance, but they do, as long as you've lost your Stubborn Defiance when you pick them up. So if you've lost your Stubborn Defiance when you pick up an Athena extra Death Defiance, you actually get to keep that extra Death Defiance. Not forever. You can still, it's still single use like a Death Defiance is normally, but they go after your Stubborn Defiance, so you get to stockpile it potentially. Of course, that's a lot to ask for with approval process 2 on, so I'm not necessarily counting on it happening, but these kinds of runs are kind of a game of numbers, you know? It's not going to happen first try, usually, kind of situation. Okay, so right now we're at 12 health, which is probably well below 30%. I mean, it's definitely well below 30%. So, attack speed does nothing for Hestia unless you were to hold down the attack button, which we barely do. It does not help with reloading or anything like that. Doesn't do anything. So it's pretty useless. Most of the attack and special... so boosting your attack and or special speed from Hermes doesn't... It's very hit or miss. Like, sometimes it does something, sometimes it does nothing. It just really depends on the weapon and aspect. They're very... yeah. It's kind of just, you don't know what it does a lot of times. So we roll here. We're praying for an extra dash. If we get hyper sprint, that's okay too. So quick recovery is one of the very few ways we can technically heal, if you call it a heal, despite having 100% lasting consequences on. It's just not that great, though. I think we take the palm here. It's guaranteed to hit the attack. If it wasn't guaranteed to hit the attack, we probably wouldn't do it. Use the lava to get some health back. Back up to 86. So that's how you have to use the Stubborn Defiance. And now we get the Stubborn Defiance on room entrance. So you, when you're in Asphodel, since there's lava in every single chamber, you try to save it till the end of combat. You know, try your best not to lose it, right? And then you just make sure that you recover what you can afterward. Now, once you get to Elysium, it kind of just really depends. Some rooms have eggs that you can use after the fact. And assuming that you have heightened security on, that's not a big deal. You can do that, right? If you don't have heightened security on, then it's probably going to take too long to try to use up your stubborn. And you're just going to die to the timer eventually if you do that. Or if you take... what's it, Sure Footing from Athena, you might think like, oh, this is a good idea. This way traps deal way less, but then it's harder to use the Stubborn. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's definitely gonna make it harder. Ooh, Athena in the shop. Let's go, baby. We have one roll, which I'm considering using. The Call. And we probably have Athena on the exit too, probably. The Call is okay. I think a call boon is actually just pretty good, solid overall. Okay, we do have Athena here. I'm not going to roll it because it does offer that core boon, like I said. So we could get an extra Defiance from Athena here now, too, then. Wait, was I not at full health here? I don't know why I wouldn't be. Uh-oh. Witches. I was. I might have been early on that mag. Yeah, that was bad. And the angle might have been kind of bad. There's kind of a specific direction that you can tilt your joystick to try to get the proper angle on that. Just kind of taking it easy on these witches. It's okay. Okay, so this is Athena, so we have to make sure that we lose this before we pick her up. What do you got? Help me out. Yeah, that doesn't really do anything for us. We do need something to sell, but I'm kind of okay with selling either quick recovery or the call at this rate. Meanwhile, we could get a couple of amazing things here. The dash or a defiance. Even the special would be pretty solid. So I think we do spend our roll here. Yeah, we got the special. It's okay. It's not my first choice for sure.
Lots of coin there.
Okay. I kind of think with enough time, anyone could beat this. Kind of. With enough time, you know what I mean? I don't think it's a big, you know, reflex skill entry. It's more about knowledge still than anything else. I still maintain this about Hades for the most part. I still think it's mostly about knowledge and just knowing what's going to help your odds and what's not going to help your odds of winning kind of situation. Most people probably wouldn't even bother to attempt something like this. I still got hit there. Woo! And it definitely took me a while to get used to it, but then eventually, you know, I've beaten up to 57 heat. I think 57, and I've beaten 50 heat on probably something like 10 aspects or so now. I've lost count. Some aspects just do not lend themselves well for this, like straight up. Like pretty much all of the melee aspects, so all the sword ones, all the fist ones, they're very, very, very difficult to do. This number of heat with. We're looking for Eurydice in case she's here. She is here. Okay. When you get 3 exits from a chamber, you really want to check them all, because there's a decent chance you'll get a room like this. Timers pause during this and everything. Chamber 22, so we know it's the last one. So what do you want from Eurydice here? It's just really going to depend on so many different things. You don't really want the palms here. Yeah, you don't want palms. And therefore, you don't really want ambrosia either. So you kind of just take the nectar here. And the main idea behind this one is probably more so because of the next Hermes boon you'll get. You hope that the nectar will affect it, and you could get something like +3 dashes, which is just insane, right? It probably won't help in a lot of other ways, but I don't think palms or ambrosia would help otherwise. Ideally, we're selling quick recovery, I think, leaving Asphodel. I still... Maybe the palms aren't, like, totally wrong, I'm thinking, but... I don't know, I feel like it's the nectar. Please. 188, can't afford anything, the health does not do anything. In we go to Lerny. Lerny's tough. Lerny be do be tough.
You really didn't have to reconstitute yourself.
We got one of the better heads, I would say. I don't like the slammy head.
Right there.
Ah! It might not look like I'm using Rocket Bomb as rapidly as I could be. And I potentially am not, but it's not as fluid as you can use it between every single reload. It's not that fast. Do. Oh, buddy. Focused more on the attack than trying to get out every single rocket bomb right now, because it's our timer's looking pretty good. It's definitely not bad. So safety is going to be key during a fight like this. Uh-oh. We still have a little bit of the call. It builds up very slowly at this rate. Ah. Ah! Ads are ruining me right now. Come on, reload. Ah! I think the bane of my existence is accidentally reloading twice in a row and not firing the weapon in between, which just happens. Whew! 2 minutes on the clock for us. It's pretty spicy.
No more heads.
If we get past Elysium, we probably win. Picking out the gems doesn't do anything, by the way. Save file's maxed out, so gems don't do anything for my save file, and you don't earn money from them for the boss drops, by the way. Common question I get. So now we really want to play it safe in Elysium. Obviously, the Athena's keepsake doesn't do anything anymore, so we're just going to put on the tooth. It's very possible that I will need this tooth simply to survive Elysium.
About this.
Oh boy, out of these, I think we sell the call. I think the special is actually kind of important here. Is it? I think it is.
That's one.
I feel like it is. Whereas the call is just actually not that great. It charges super slow.
One more.
Because calls charge based on the number of hits you perform. So if you're reloading between every single shot, and you're only hitting enemies with the empowered shot and rocket bomb maybe, it's just going to build super slow. It also builds off of how much damage you take, but we can't even afford to take that many hits. Okay, so we're going to get more boons best we can. Pray that we don't get totally destroyed here. It's possible that we get a boon that gets in our way here. Like if we're forced to take the dash, because we don't have any rerolls, by the way, then that's actually quite bad. Oh my god. Because it doesn't do anything for us, really. It's kind of hard to do dash strikes like this. I do want to lose my stubborn, but not that soon. There's no eggs in this room. You're probably the last enemy. Okay.
Damn it.
Okay, we're good.
Olympus,
Woo!
I accept this message.
What? Okay. I was not expecting that. Here's the thing. Hunter's Mark, that epic Hunter's Mark is probably better than this. And that's the tooth. I think it's actually probably better than this. We're only deflecting right now, at least, with the special. The health is weirdly tempting here, but we do have ambrosia. Or nectar? Nectar. So yeah, let's get Hermes out of here.
Long spears.
Forgot to reload at the start. Please hit it. Oh. Whew. So these traps all deactivate once all the enemies are dead in this room. It's only the explosive eggs that you can activate after combat. So there are times where you would need to... I really want to split up these shield guys because they had damage control. Yeah, this is bad. These enemies are rough. I cannot let this thing respawn, that's for sure. Okay. Okay. Slow room, but we got there, it looks. Bit dangerous. But we're at what is now our full health, really, so.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Help me, Hermes! Yo, not bad. Not bad at all. I kind of forget about the whole sturdy thing. But the extra movement is just really helpful, too. From here, we're looking for more stubborn... Like, Touch of Sticks would be nice. Attack Jerky would be amazing. Yarn is not great here since we can't even select our boons at all, right? Approval process makes Yarn worth a lot less, I feel. Aphrodite. Let's look at the doors here. We don't... The Science Call is good. You start thinking about what are all the boons that you could get here, right? Is the average Aphrodite boon better than 25 max health? I think the answer is no. because I don't want her dash. It doesn't do anything. The cast actually is worse. The call is not good at all for us here. Almost never is good. And then you get a bunch of other mild supplementary boons that are not totally worth it. So I don't think she is. Now the bigger question, so that means that we do this. So now the bigger question is the average Poseidon boon better than 25 max health? Could get the dash, which is definitely not bad. And you could get the call, which would be amazing because you're invulnerable and you deal a decent chunk of damage to the enemies. I think it's enough to take it here, but it's close. Not the bull? Crap. No bueno. Alright, let's throw Meg out right away. Keep our distance best we can. We have super long range with Hestia, so try to keep boiling blood up by keeping the cast inside here. Watch out for the charge. Try to duck behind the pillars. That's harder than I make it sound, I admit. I mean, yeah. That's the hardest part of this fight, I feel, is the charge move. If this were an Athena reward, we'd have to lose our Defiance, which is not safe, to say the least. We'd have to lose our Defiance before beating him.
See you soon.
Alright, what do you got? Alright, help. Floodshot is not helpful. It's not hurtful, I guess, at least, though. Second hammer. There's a lot of things here that could help. Wow, okay, we got a fountain. That's amazing. Yeah, Seeking Fire is not one that helps us, unfortunately. Damn it. That's probably one of the worst ones we could get. It's just kind of a useless hammer for the most part. It doesn't even help with Empowered Shot. Like, it doesn't seek anymore or anything. No Patty. I guess we'll take more Poseidon. But it's actually, the odds are probably less good now that we have his cast. Because he might just offer us supplement, like what they call tier 2 boons now, right? Where it's like Breaking Wave, Razor Shoals, Typhoon's Fury, Wave Pounding. There's so many of them, really. This is a bad room with the damage control and everything. Okay. Come on. Gonna have to focus. But yeah, now that we have his cast, we could get offered those things. You know what I mean? Whereas beforehand, that we had a pretty increased chance of getting something like his dash or his call. But I still think it's worth it. Gives us potentially something else to sell too if we have to. Well, I mean, we have to, but in case we get scrammed, I guess. More annoying enemies here. Ah. Ah. Please kill it. No. This is rough. This is a baddie. I've considered using a Meg, but it wouldn't even be that helpful here because of the damage control. Woo! All right, come on. That was rough. Oh my god. 2 duo boons. Can you believe it? You cannot be stunned and resist some damage from bosses. This is probably one of the worst duos in the game. It just does almost nothing. Okay, Athena's back, though. So we have to try to lose our Stubborn here. The timer's looking really rough after a couple of bad rooms. These enemies look a bit more mild, at least, at the start. So hopefully we can do a little bit better here. Trying to watch the eyeballs to stop them from rearming. Again, like... killing these enemies quickly is more worthwhile than not taking any damage, because Because of Stubborn Defiance, we also have eggs in the room, so we don't have to worry about losing it ahead of time. Okay, come on. Okay. Okay, we're okay. We lost our Defiance. Ooh, that timer. Minute 33 left, and we got nothing from Athena. Oh, we might lose it now. This is kind of free when you think about it. We're in Chamber 33. There's one more. We really need Thanatos to appear, or Patty. Patty is massive for these runs. Oh my god. It's not really free though, I guess. No Patty. I guess we pray for Thanatos, but it looks like we may die to the timer. Okay, so I think we do take this money then. Hopefully we don't die. No Thanatos. Do not have time to goof around, that's for sure. Bloodshot might actually help us with a little bit of AoE here, honestly, at this rate. It also helps stagger the enemies, because our attack does not do that. The empowered shot from Hestia, or any rail attack, just does not do that. Try to keep them grouped up around the traps in case they help us a little bit. Might be dead to the timer, though. Something respawn. Okay. If I get hit by that trap, there goes the tooth. Please hit it. The auto aim on this rail is it's okay sometimes. I mean, you can't really complain. The game aims for you.
Not much time left.
I don't think we're gonna make it. We'll look for a miracle from the shop, I think. Your average Artemis boon or 25 max health. I think I go for 25 max health personally. Okay, so we got to make sure we land this Meg. I don't think we have enough damage to actually. Oh no, I didn't do it. I don't think I hit the Minotaur. No, it didn't. We're out of time. Focusing. Lost the stubborn. If we lose the tooth, it's okay. But I don't know if we got enough time for it. Good crit there. I have to play quickly while also not getting hit. 100 health. I don't think so. Theseus! No! We didn't make it. Almost a minute past the deadline, though. So what went wrong there? We had a couple of really rough chambers in Elysium. Like a damaging call boon or a damaging dash definitely would have helped a ton there. Like Poseidon's dash, Poseidon's call. Definitely would have helped in a lot of ways, I think. I think that if we had ricochet fire for the hammer, that would have been amazing as well. If we had gotten, for the second hammer, like ricochet would have made a big deal. If we had gotten cluster bomb, that would have been massive. It probably made it almost too easy in a sense. Even just getting Athena's dash, not just for the safety, but to wear off enemies that have damage control on them, like some of the enemies did, would help a ton there. Yeah, so getting that attack boon in the first chamber was actually not that helpful, to be honest. Because you're okay with taking the shackle for a while, and hopefully you build up other boons instead, like a dash boon that's helpful. If we had seen Thanatos at any point in the run, that might have been enough, honestly, to let us survive. And if you get past Theseus and Minotaur with the layout that we had there, that probably would have been enough to net us the win, unless we got like 5 sacked or something in 6. Just because Hades is a pushover at that point without extreme measures 4 on, you know what I mean? But all right, I know it wasn't a win, but that was my one and only try at it, and I think we did kind of all right considering everything. Let me know what you guys think. If you got questions, please let me know in the comments. I know like I kind of covered a lot of things, and I had a couple people ask for this. And so, I don't know, let's go back to the pact. I think a lot of people have the misconception that when you lose to something like Tight Deadline or to some other aspect sort of the Pact of Punishment, they immediately want to change the Pact of Punishment for the next run. And just don't necessarily jump to that. You know what I mean? Analyze what happened in the run. What went right? What went wrong? What caused you to lose? So in this case, yes, it was Tight Deadline, but there were also aspects that worked against us that was just bad luck. And at this point, when you get to this level of heat, bad luck's just going to play a major part of it. Good luck, too. I know we got 2 duo boons, but the luck is just going to be so big here. So, you know, there are some alternate pack setups here for sure. Even something probably like, oh gosh, how do you even do this though? That's really hard to do. I mean, approval process sucks. That's what's not fun about this. So doing something like this is probably fine with Hestia, to be clear. You probably have to do something like that, actually. Because you don't want extreme measures for Hades to have plus any amount of health if you can help it. So this is an alternate to 50 heat. If you did Eris Rail, you could kind of keep all this, but do damage control and lose the routine inspection. And this is a pretty good setup for that. But yeah, like I was saying, so, I mean, I'd see it on stream a lot. I would die to something at very, very high heat, right? And people would say, okay, what if you turn down Tight Deadline? Okay, but what if you turn down Jury Summons? Okay, but what if you did this? What if you did this? It just really depends what happened, right? And it's just not going to happen first try. These things are not that certain, I think, you know? You know what I mean? You're at 50 heat now. You are at the mercy of the gods. So don't take it as you need to change everything in order to get a win. Sometimes it's just, you know, like practice. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's both. I mean, even in this instance, I haven't done 50 plus heat prior to recording this in months at this point. So there were definitely things I could have done better. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me know your comments. Let me know what you think, guys. If you like this video, this style of video, or more things like this, you know, this is good, I know, to explain things about the game, even if it's a bit more slower paced. I know there's definitely a lot of repeats though, but appreciate you all watching. Thank you all so much. And I hope to see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye. We are moving. Oh, we're falling back. We appear to be falling onto Ash Twin for some reason.